matchup will go a long way toward determining this one. Let's take a look at the full starting lineups. We'll begin with the Lumberjacks. Bateman, Bostic, Heyman, Parker, and Smith. The SFA's got a very specific way they like to play the game. We'll talk a lot about that. Meanwhile, for the Cardinal, Aaron Bright, Jason Randall, Andy Brown, Josh Eustace. Also a big improvement this year for him, and Dwight Powell underneath the basket.
All about tempo. SFA, they want to control everything. They're a very disciplined team. They're creative and imaginative of offense, but they don't play the up and down game. Stanford has been red hot lately offensively. Something's got to give.
Yeah, Stanford wants to score. They want to run. They want to shoot quickly, and almost the opposite for SFA. So the first possession for the Cardinal.
Do not sell SFA short. Sounds like an energy company from Texas. And I want to apologize right off the bat, because I know I'm going to make a mistake tonight and say Taylor Swift instead of Taylor Smith. It's not intentional. I also am going to say Stephen A. Smith instead of Stephen F. Austin. So please bear with me.
A couple of pop culture references. That's okay if we mix it up a little. Stephen F. Austin. And for them, that's a quick shot. They will work the shot clock down almost every possession. Aaron Bright, who's been playing well. Open shot for Jason Randall. His three no good, and the Lumberjacks grab the board.
Control of the boards will be critical. SFA, not a big team, but incredibly disciplined, beautifully coached. Danny Casper, this guy is one of the most interesting coaches I have met in my entire life.
And here is not Taylor Swift, Taylor Smith, and that is what he does right there.
The power, the footwork, the combination of finesse and strength and talent and a brain, too. This guy's got it.
Dwight Powell on the outside misses the three. Now there, right there is a contrast between Powell and Smith.
Smith is never going to go outside. The student section behind us, they are fired up. They do not want the trees of California cut down.
So far, the axes look pretty sharp, though.
Chop it down one time, please.
The Lumberjacks with the first four in this game. And there was a question, the head coach you're talking about, Danny Casper, there's a steal, a Cardinal turnover. Coach Casper told us he wasn't sure how his kids would respond. Very disappointing on Saturday to lose their conference tournament championship, miss a chance to go to the NCAAs. He was wondering whether they'd come out ready to play.
Beautiful back cut.
Recovery defense by Stanford, but an open look on the baseline. Powell with the rebound. More than a couple minutes in, Stanford still looking for its first points in this game.
Points are going to be tough to come by for Stanford unless they're willing to really push this pace here, because the disciplined footwork of SFA is a thing to marvel.
The #1 scoring defense in all of college basketball. Nobody allows fewer points a game than SFA.
You look at their defensive footwork. They close out. They don't gamble. They work together. It's not a big, overpowering, physically dominating team. But they play with heart. They play with their brain. They play with passion. They have a commitment, a vision, a plan. They got a brilliant leader over there. This is a most interesting team here, and the free throw won't go down for Dwight Powell. Stanford, 2.5 minutes in, still has yet to score a point.
Powell, who we talked about right off the bat, the most improved player in the Pac-12 conference this year. Took a huge leap forward, and he gets the first point of the game for Stanford.
And now Stanford comes with a press. Look long if you're SFA. That's where the openings are.
Is that a way for Stanford to try to pick up the pace of this game?
Stanford has to race every single possession. Run as long, as hard as you can. Don't get into this grinded out, methodical game.
Jumper from the free throw line for Antonio Bostic. So it's 6-1 Lumberjacks with the early lead.
SFA located in East Texas, the Piney Woods.
Where
the wind blows through the Piney Woods. And how fantastic it is, except for their travel. I mean, basically, they take bus trips all year long in the conference.
From Nacogdoches, Texas, Andy Brown in the corner. No good on the three. The oldest town in Texas, they call it, Nacogdoches.
Named after Stephen F. Austin, the father of Texas.
You know, it's been a big night for historic figures in America. Robert Morris knocked off Kentucky. I think Stephen F. Austin qualifies.
Certainly. When you're the father of Texas, that's a title. Although If the Lumberjacks win this game, they're going to name Danny Casper the father of Texas.
This is a big game for them. A chance on national television against a big program on the road. The steal by Stanford. First Lumberjacks turnover of the game. And Stanford's still looking for his first field goal. Powell passed up the three this time. Eustace will shoot from the outside. That one goes down.
Beautiful high-low interchange. One thing that Stanford is going to have to adjust to, they're playing against Pac-12 teams that mindlessly and senselessly double team all the time. This team, the Lumberjacks, they don't do that. They guard people. They're out there, they're in their face, they're making them beat you with a real game. Tremendous post-entry pass.
And Taylor Smith down low draws a foul. That will send us to our first timeout here in Palo Alto.
Antonio Spurs, or he's fantastic. At the very closing moments of the ABA, he breaks his ankle. Then there's the absorption into the NBA in the offseason. He comes back, and they're playing in the NBA for San Antonio, and he's teamed with Ice Gervin. This is a phenomenal backcourt. And in the very first game for San Antonio, the NBA finally makes it there after the absorption, and he tears up his knee. Somebody fell on his leg, and he was never the same again, and nobody ever got to see him. Now, James Silas is still doing fantastic. He lives in Austin, runs all kinds of youth programs there, a great champion of the human spirit.
So a little education on one of the all-time greats, maybe the all-time great for the Lumberjacks. Meanwhile, another one of their all-time great players, Taylor Smith, is getting whatever he wants around the basket.
Nobody in the Pac-12 plays like this. I have been so impressed by what the Lumberjacks have been able to do early on here.
Now, Stanford's offense has been off kilter. And on the defensive end, the Lumberjacks are getting the ball down low. That's what they want to do.
They all have such excellent footwork. They're patient. They move quickly without the ball. They're not forcing anything. They don't over-dribble. The hard cuts. And Stanford marked this date down in NCAA history. 5 substitutions at once.
It's a line change. And I think Coach Dawkins...
Let the words be yours. I'm done with mine.
I don't think Coach Dawkins is very happy with the way his starting 5 began this game. So
well, the Cardinals are without Grant Verhoeven, who had a concussion yesterday in practice. So that's going to be a major loss here.
Yeah, kind of a tough guy off the bench. There's a good defensive play by the senior, Gabe Harris. And Harris will get a touch on the offensive end. Cutting to the basket. Scores.
Quick hitting play. Slice down the lane. Change of pace. Explosiveness. Nice post-entry pass that time. And Gabriel Harris, he's really hoping that they get to go to Alabama and play. He hasn't played in his home state there.
Yeah, it'd be almost a hometown game for him. This could be his final game if Stanford loses. That was a good play by Allen, but Stanford couldn't quite get it at first. Now they do steal it away.
Great example of the strength of Taylor Smith.
Now bad pass. Good hustle by Allen, but out of bounds. It's been sloppy in the early minutes. Roscoe Allen playing hard off the bench.
We have already seen more players in this game for Stanford than we will see all game for SFA. Danny Casper, he does not substitute. And I love that. Danny Casper, 57 years old from Corpus Christi. What a remarkable story he is. We'll get to that in a breath.
I mean, they might play 8, maybe guys, but likely we'll see just 7. And the 2 off the bench play very few minutes. Here's a jumper from the right wing. That one off the iron. There's Smith.
Taylor Smith's anticipation. He's not a tall guy. Maybe 6'6". He's got really long arms, powerful broad shoulders, fabulous footwork, able to be flexible enough to bend down and tie his shoe during the course of the game. But that posture that he has, that regal sense of, yeah, I'm Paul Bunyan. I'm coming here to California to chop these trees down.
So far, so good for Smith. Leading field goal shooter in college basketball, #1. So he can play.
And that's a great step out defensively by Smith.
Yeah, just a little help. Got a hand on the pass. Foul against Gage. So essentially that little help defense created a turnover.
What he did, Smith, that time, unlike literally every player in the entire Pac-12 all season long, with the exception of Robertson from Colorado. He turned the ball back.
Lumberjacks with the ball, leading by 4. Just the kind of game they want to play. Low scoring. Great look down low, and Smith dunks it home.
Throw it down. One time, big man. This is a good-looking team.
He's not big in stature, but he does have a lot of explosion. You see that? He's already 4 for 4. Sanders, good move. Couldn't get the layup to go, though. Here comes Bateman. They left the shooter wide open.
Look at the hands of Smith. Yeah. He never bobbles any balls.
The offensive rebound means more time off the clock for the Lumberjacks. Almost a turnover. Instead, a bucket for Hal Bateman, the senior point guard, kid from Davenport, Iowa.
Bateman, Bostic, Heyman, the guys out in front. Bostic and Heyman are the glue guys for this Lumberjack team.
Tough shot for Roscoe Allen. Ball caroms to Harris. Gage is a very good outside shooter. He knew that one was going down.
Prettiest stroke in the entire conference. John Gage, that ability with the quick release, to let it go, the high follow through, just a thing of beauty. Just like the tides in Puget Sound where he's from up there in Vashon Island. The Vashon Flash, John Gage.
Kid from the Seattle area. 5-point lead though for the Lumberjacks.
This crowd here is just going nuts.
Making a lot of noise behind us. Smith tracks down another loose ball. This guy's everywhere.
But what a fun team.
A 27-win regular season. This team is no pushover, the Lumberjacks. Another good look down low. It'll be Smith drawing the foul.
Third most in history to never make the NCAA tournament. Third best record in history with only 4 losses, 27-4. In his 13th year has just dominated coaching in the state of Texas.
Now, the one thing he could be a little better at.
That's Danny right there in the middle. 57 years old from Corpus Christi, California.
Texas guy through and through, right?
Corpus Christi, Texas, excuse me.
His whole career's been there. This guy, Taylor Smith, who does so many things well, he makes both free throws. He is not a great free throw shooter.
Didn't seem to hurt Shaq's position in the history of basketball.
You're right about that.
What was Shaq's free throw percentage in his final college game, please?
You give it to me. I don't know.
12 for 12 in Boise against Indiana. In the bracket where Bob Knight brought the bullwhip to the press conference. Oh my God!
I definitely remember that one. I didn't remember 12 for 12.
It was an awesome game. Indiana ran him out.
SFA with the 16-9 lead.
Come on, what is a foul?
A lot of contact there. We've had very few whistles in this first half.
Let him play.
Free-flowing game.
But you can't just push a guy out of your way.
Bostic, Smith gets another touchdown low. Missed that one, though.
Finally, some defensive rotation there. Houston is going to have to come over. Find out what kind of passer Taylor Smith can be.
Yeah, that was his first missed shot of the game. Eustace laying down low. Back to the basket. Elevates right over the defense.
Well, Jacob Parker, number 34. Excuse me. Thomas Walkup, number 0. One of the few players off the bench for Coach Casper. Going to have his hands full with Eustace down low.
Well, we talked about Powell already. Eustace much improved this year. He had a really good year. Look at the quick move by Smith.
This is a clinic. This is a textbook display of how you play basketball.
Robbie Lemons, who loves to shoot from the outside.
Love that pace for Stanford up and down, but this is like the tectonic plates, the San Andreas Fault. The two teams coming together and the grinding. How's it going to settle out?
Colliding forces, and who will win?
So I would keep milking Taylor Smith down low.
You almost feel like they got to get him a touch every single time down the court.
What's wrong with that?
On the baseline, there's Thomas Walkup, the jumper.
I love the fact that they pass the ball, that they do jab steps, and they swing it side to side, and they have guys coming off of screens. It's not just this incessant dribbling that drives you crazy.
Powell matched up with Smith along that baseline. The first step, he got through the defense to draw a foul.
Powell has got such a height advantage. You don't want to turn and face because that favors the quick guys. And at this stage of their career, Taylor Smith has better footwork. So Powell should be down in that low box, calling for that ball. One step backward, little hitch to the baseline, then just come right across the middle for the big sky hook or the jump hook. And not sure if Taylor Smith could get there in time.
But Dwight Powell, he is a great story. A kid who struggled with big expectations first couple of years. This year played so much better. Loves being at Stanford. Loves being a student. Just this week said he's coming back for his senior year.
Why would you ever want to leave Stanford?
It's a good question.
Oh my gosh. Driving through the campus today with the light rain coming down, everybody on their bikes. It's just absolutely fantastic. All the new building, the new construction.
Smell the eucalyptus groves.
Remember wandering through the forest here at Stanford. Just those of us who live in California, what a day it was flying up before the rain came in. Flying up over Big Sur, Monterey, Carmel, 17-mile drive today. Boy, everybody on the plane Southwest just grinning broadly. California, meet me on the burning shore.
Dwight Powell, a kid who came from Canada here to California and loves it so much, he's sticking around. A couple of free throws for Powell.
Excellent ball game tonight.
SFA shooting 60% so far. That one out of bounds off of Stanford. And Johnny Dawkins has got most of his starters back out there. He was not pleased with the first few minutes. Got them out. Now 4 out of the 5 are back on the court. Robbie Lemons hustling on defense.
As we look around and we see some of the empty seats, I'm surprised that a school like Stanford, with a $17 billion endowment, in a game like this where they know there's not going to be a lot of people here, but bringing the high school students from all over town.
Yeah, maybe.
Like from East Palo Alto.
And the issue could be not enough time to plan. They find out 36 hours ago.
You heard of Twitter?
I have heard of Twitter.
You heard of Facebook?
I'm big on Twitter, Bill. Randall missed the 3. Powell went up and grabbed that rebound. They didn't ask me, though, to fill up some seats.
Stanford's always been, though, about giving people opportunity. Little Aaron Bright, beautiful foray down the lane.
Just couldn't quite finish, and it's off of Stephen F. Austin out of bounds.
What a game Aaron Bright had against ASU. That head-to-head matchup with Carson, that was
NCAA championships.
What a perfect time of year. Basketball all day, every day. Full shot clock here at 35. 4-point Lumberjack lead. And Danny Casper, the coach, he and her wife, Debbie, they have only one child. Just the angel Nicole, who's 22 years old, and the pride of Debbie and Danny Casper. And Danny is really hoping that Nicole is watching tonight. She's a model, 22 years old. She attends Texas State. But Coach Casper, he's concerned that she's back at her room cleaning things up rather than spending time out watching this game. So Nicole, we hope you're watching because your dad is making us all really proud.
Her dad's on national TV. I imagine she's tuning in. He is the coach of the year in the Southland Conference. Sort of a basketball lifer. Bill mentioned he's from Corpus Christi, but he's been to Waco, he's been to Lubbock, he's been to Austin, he's been to Denton, he's in Nacogdoches now.
His high school coach, Mike Kinstead, down in Corpus Christi, was great friends with John Wooden. And Coach Kinstead, he used to go and work all of Coach Wooden's camps in California. And one year, 1981, Coach Kinstead brought little Danny Casper out to Point Loma Nazarene in San Diego, where Coach Wooden had his camp, and I was the guest speaker that year, and I got to meet Danny Casper then.
Did you remember that?
Yes, after he reminded me.
After he reminded you. Stanford's tied this game at 20, so the Cardinals, we got a game starting to pick up the pace. A little 6-0 run for Stanford. I think pace is a big part of it. Stanford's starting to play a little freer, a little looser.
Well, they better wake up here. Tough pass that time by Taylor Smith.
Yeah, they forced him to be a passer, like you said. Here's Bright in transition for three. Got it.
Love that shot. Love threes in transition. Only, though, if you're going to have your big guys run the floor. So if there's a miss, you got great opportunity to just get right on the glass, and the crowd here is erupted. Where's the competitive response from the Jacks?
12-2 run, first lead for Stanford. Bateman, rebound Robbie Lemons, who's given quality minutes off the bench.
They're doing a terrific job, Stanford is, of keeping Taylor Smith on the offensive foul. Wave it off.
Randall
Can't do that.
Gets called for the offensive foul.
Chasing Randall, the shake and bake up the court, just uses the ball as a battering ram and throws the poor Lumberjack. You have to treat the opposition, even if they're from Texas, with a little bit more respect than that.
The tree knocked down the Lumberjack that time.
A rare victory in that matchup.
Stanford with the three-point lead. The fans who are here were not happy with that call.
But there's an incredible rivalry between California and Texas. And anytime anything is involved between those two states, there is everything on the line.
They're sort of at opposite ends, I would say. Randall with the
don't go out on a limb.
Yeah. Let me say something real controversial here. Robbie Lemons hits a three. And how about Lemons? Does not play big minutes. But
Pac-12 basketball. A lot on the line for the Pac-12 tonight. Washington going down to BYU. Is that over yet or not?
Yeah, may not
seemingly
be over. At halftime, we'll get the update from Steve and Steven.
ASU tomorrow night hosting Detroit. Spencer Haywood's old school. Spencer, I'm hearing good things about Spencer for the Hall of Fame this year. The announcement will be made. Championship Day, April 8th in Atlanta.
Okay.
But I'm hearing good things. Come on, Spencer, where you belong in the Hall of Fame.
Ejection by Dwight Powell, and he kept it in bounds. So Stanford gets the ball back. On a 12-0 run, Lemons feeling it. Not that time.
But a beautiful pace in the anticipation. And now the challenge is for SFA to rein it back in and get their game going again. But with Powell waking up here, doing a better job on Taylor Smith, where's the offense going to come from? Whoa.
Tough shot. No good. Powell rips away the ball and then throws it away. Dwight Powell, who is a defensive presence down low.
He's a good player and a terrific young man. Sending it back. No need to hit it so hard. Just touch it, catch it, gobble it up, start a fast break.
SFA 0 for their last 5 during this run.
Love the way Stanford's up in the passing lane, overplaying them, trying to force the tempo to be faster. Taylor Smith needs to execute the duck-in move better. Don't just settle back there on the weak side.
Stanford's made a couple good adjustments in this game as it's gone along.
Well, Stanford's in control.
Good defense again. Tough crossover move, and Bostic hits the shot.
That is a big-time shot there. And I love it. It's just one dribble. Fake one way, one dribble the other, get in the air. No defender can deal with that. The theory of basketball is just absolutely beautiful.
Even Josh Houston is a very good defender. Nothing he could do there.
Notice how SFA, they never gamble. They never take chances.
Very solid, and a rejection by Smith. Wow.
Send it back, Taylor Smith. No wonder your coach compares you to a Bill Russell-type player.
A little different body type, but that was a quick leap. And an excellent block shot, and now he gets it down low, missed the shot. He doesn't miss many of those.
Bill Russell was undersized.
Yeah.
Bill Russell 6'9".
Lean, but
lean as can be, and still, oh my God, Bill 79 now.
We see him here in the Bay Area. Randall baseline.
Beautiful. One of the rare times you'll see SFA give up easy dribble penetration like that. They're normally right in front.
Stanford playing well these last 10 minutes or so, leading by 6. Sort of daring Bateman to shoot. He doesn't do it. Bostic again. Powell fighting for position, goes high for the board.
Powell has done a superb job. Once he realized that he had a real player Too many times in the Pac-12, everybody just comes in double teams. They just gamble all the time. This is a game of one-on-one confrontations, and Powell has risen to the occasion.
Randall creates for Lemons, who dribbled into it too. Missed it, though.
Timeout on the court here. The Lumberjacks going to sharpen those teeth on the Bills. And then the NITs, two of them, 91 last year, 2012.
Mike Montgomery, the skipper for that first NIT championship, and Johnny Dawkins, the championship last year.
Well, the amazing thing is that overall, Stanford is a phenomenal athletic program.
Good move inside by Bateman.
It's their men's basketball team that has not measured up.
It's been tough around here lately. The football team playing at
against USD.
You can't just walk into the pyramid and get an easy victory. They had to earn that one.
I'm old enough to remember when Jerry Tarkanian coached there, when Lute Olson coached there. Oh my gosh.
Great basketball history at that school. Now Bateman, point guard, not a big scorer, made the first free throw. Good passer though. You see the assist numbers.
This school, SFA, had tremendous history. We had the comments about James Silas at the start of the broadcast tonight. In that year, in 1 year, they had 5 guys drafted off the team in a draft that only would have maybe 50 guys out of the whole country.
Now, that's pretty incredible. And a heyday for Lumberjacks basketball these days under their coach, Danny Casper. That's a foul against Andy Brown away from the ball. Turnover Stanford.
There's never been a great team. There's never been a great player. There's never been a great program without a great coach. And who this guy, Danny Casper, has learned from. Billy Tubbs, the legend from Lamar. Gene Iba from Baylor. This is the Midwest type of basketball, and this guy has really become a master himself.
And they're hanging in there.
Couldn't be more proud of Danny Casper.
The Stanford team from the Pac-12. Final 2 minutes of the first half in Palo Alto. And after Stanford went on the run, SFA has gotten the game back down to the style that they want. Quick double team comes, and Smith gave it up. Bostic, wild miss.
Beautiful. Keep it alive.
Walkup got his hand on that one. For a long while, SFA just one made basket the last 7+ minutes.
Beautiful passing.
Wide open three is good from Desmond Heyman.
Stephen Bardo is going to have the time of his life in the studio tonight, breaking down this offense.
So you're putting some pressure on Bardo.
Well, he's a gunning guard. I know that from Illinois, but please, he knows his stuff. That
he can break it down.
He adds so much to our team.
Aaron Bright, the release and the three. You like that kid, Aaron Bright.
I like Stanford. These guys are just such fun guys. At the Pac-12 tournament at the MGM Grand, which was phenomenal, I got to meet Andy Brown's mom, and it was fantastic.
Andy Brown, another good story on this Stanford team. It is a good guy team. They love playing with each other. They work hard. Bostic, another crossover move and another jumper.
Andy Brown's mom was a 3-time All-American.
Chemistry on the court.
And that's the beauty of basketball. And that's what we've seen from this surging Lumberjack team. Because when you talk to anybody involved in their program, first thing that comes to mind, character, chemistry, cohesiveness, discipline, vision, plan. We got a game here.
That's a 5-second violation.
A rule that must be done away with when they finally get around to modernizing and logicalizing and rationalizing the rules. With a shot clock.
Let's start with the shot clock.
Right, well, but with a shot clock, you don't need a 5-second rule.
Yeah.
But the shot clock should be 30.
It should be 30.
You shouldn't be able to score and commit an offensive foul at the same time. You shouldn't be able to call timeout when the other team has the ball.
We got some work to do, Bill, on those rules. Bostic hits a three. And with 4 seconds left in the half, SFA takes the lead back. Here's Bright with the left hand. And almost went down.
That was beautiful. We got a game here. The Lumberjacks have cut down the trees in the first half. Oh, my God, the Pac-12 better wake up. Washington has already gone down tonight.
Stanford, a few too many turnovers. The bench helped the Cardinal. Both teams shooting about even. The three-point shooting for Stanford was an edge for the Pac-12 school, but it's the Lumberjacks who have the ball first here in the second half.
The footwork every single time. Nobody just dribbling it.
Bostic missed the three. There's Eustace defensive board.
Tremendous rebound that time by Josh Eustace. Rebound battle. Stanford +2 here. Not a lot of rebounds. Just both teams shooting decently. 48 SFA, 45 Stanford.
That slower tempo kind of game, low possession game. Andy Brown off the glass.
The Cardinal loyalists can only hope that they'll come back to that play.
And that was a good matchup for Stanford. That's Brown's first basket of the game. Bostic over the outreached arm of Dwight Powell.
Antonio Bostic, very interesting player. His ability to slash, to dice. The best perimeter defender on this team, a senior. He's in a hot shooting streak right now, and that layup indicative of what we're going to see here the rest of the way.
He's one of those guys, Bill, you talked about it in the first half. He never comes out of the game. He will play all 40 minutes. Dwight Powell, tough move.
I love guys that play the whole game.
Yeah.
You can't do it in the NBA. There's just too much. Beautiful post entry pass.
And Smith is not going to miss that one.
Smith has been hugely impressive today. His hands, his footwork, his balance, his physical fitness.
I like a kid who knows what his strength is, and that's what he does. He sticks to what he does well. And that's what this player does.
That's what the game of basketball is all about. That's what good teams do.
Powell trying to make a move against Smith, sort of stepped through the defense, gets his own miss, and couldn't stick it back in.
I like SFA because they don't make stupid mistakes. They don't foul, they don't grab, they don't hack. They play basketball. And they don't over-dribble. Terrible call. That's a terrible call. That ball was off Stanford.
Yeah, it sure looked like he got tipped. Not much of an argument from Bostic.
One thing about it, the Lumberjacks, they're not here whining and complaining. I mean, I was staggered with UCLA with the comments on where they got seated. I mean, it's nothing but whining and complaining. You got a chance. You got a chance to go play.
And we watched the replay. I don't think Stanford did touch the ball. I think it was out of bounds. There's Brown wide open.
Aaron Bright, penetration and dish. I'm sitting right here. That ball came right to me. That ball was off Stanford.
Well, I thought you were right. Then we watched the replay. I don't know.
Photoshop.
We edited it in the meantime.
We got a great crew.
And Evan and Jerry and company back in the truck. Here's a foul on Eustace, Desmond Heyman. Aaron Bright, again, Bill's been talking about throughout our broadcast, playing well for Stanford.
One of the rare times you'll see an SFA team, a Danny Casper team, give up guard penetration. But with the quickness, the explosiveness, the imagination and creativity of Aaron Bright, plus the fact that he's stroking those threes, and he got the ball on the run. But with the free throws here, SFA, there are 21 Division I schools in the state of Texas. Over the last 13 years, SFA has been the second best team of all of those schools. University of Texas, the only team with a better record in 13 years. But over the last 6 years, SFA with Danny Casper, they have been the #1 winningest school in the entire state of Texas.
Their one weakness as a team this year at the free throw line. They're just not a good free throw shooting team. And we saw 2 misses there.
Great defense.
Randall harassed. Brown avoided the turnover to get it to John Gage, who airballed it. That's a foul, though, against the Lumberjacks down low.
Stanford is taller. They're longer. They're bigger. They're Stanford University. They have a $17 billion endowment here. You know what the endowment is at SFA?
I don't.
$18 million.
A little difference in terms of the resources available. Aaron Bright who just loves playing in the postseason. He was the most outstanding player in the NIT last year at a huge tournament.
But the great thing about basketball is that the underdog can win. And these Lumberjacks, they're right there. That's the story of the night. Beautiful pass.
Gage is going to make Taylor Smith earn it at the free throw line. On the other end of the floor, Aaron Bright continues to get it done.
The little drummer boy. I love this little play here. Just hands to the guy, going to run around behind him, and he lays it off and just let it fly from three.
Simple basketball, but it works. Not a bad foul by Stanford to make Smith shoot the free throws. That's a third on Gage.
Your comment about when it works. You have to make it work. And that's what's impressive about SFA. But they don't come in here with all the advantages that these guys from Stanford have or these guys in the Pac-12 have. Yet, they listen to their coach. They believe. They come and they put the work in. And now they've got a perfect chance. They're down 2 points with 16-20 to go. They win this game. They're going to talk about this game the rest of their lives.
Smith making his free throws. He's got 16. And he's also playing good defense against Dwight Powell. A lot of contact there. No whistle. Rebound. Lumberjacks.
Tremendous defensive position by the Lumberjacks.
Powell's just 1 for 6 shooting here tonight.
Nobody forces anything. I love the weave over the top.
Bostic got it back, and that is a blocking foul. They called Bright for the foul. So that sends us to a timeout.
University Avenue here in Palo Alto. What more could you add? Karl Malone, proud as can be there.
Well, there have been a lot of good basketball tonight in the NIT. The headliner has to be the Patriot, Robert Morris, and his school taking down Kentucky. They stormed the court after that one.
That's also should be outlawed in college basketball. That is so dangerous. Please, for those of you who are at home, do not storm the court. A big mistake.
They did it tonight in the hometown of John Calipari. Came back home, and I don't think he enjoyed it too much. Good defense by Stanford there.
Well, we love the victory by Robert Morris, but
yeah,
it's just too dangerous.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to get hurt, and then everybody's going to get all mad. And they're going to say, what were we thinking? Think beforehand. Like this guy who just turned that ball over. Don't jump in the lane and get in the air and then try to throw a pass to somebody who's already cut and left his spot.
Now Aaron Bright and Stanford on offense. 15 minutes to play. Dwight Powell using a dribble. Some help defense forced the miss.
Taylor Smith is a superb basketball player in every aspect. So fundamentally sound. So disciplined. What a mind. Love players that think.
Yeah,
Didn't go for one of those fakes. You got to make your opponent shoot that ball from the perimeter.
Number 32 in purple for SFA. He's playing well on offense. He's playing very well on defense.
He's the defensive player of the year.
Right, that little opening, but he missed the three, and there's Smith with the rebound.
Danny Casper has had all the MVPs. 3 of the last 6 years in the Southland Conference have been a Lumberjack for Danny Casper, now in his 13th year in Nacogdoches.
Here's a 3 from Pinckney. Brown with the rebound. Stanford wants to get up and down, wants to play with a quicker tempo.
But the discipline offensively for the Lumberjacks prevents it. That's an offensive foul.
Randall got away with a push-off there. Jason Randall, he's got 6. And now Randall's matched up defensively with Antonio Bostic. Clock starting to wind down. It's under 10.
But they don't panic. Beautiful back cut. Throw it down, big man, one time. Chop him down.
No panic whatsoever. Taylor Smith, man, he can finish around the rim. The leading field goal shooter in college basketball.
He doesn't give ground. in any aspect of the game.
Eustace, who's had a very quiet game, missed the three. Powell way up high for the rebound. Dwight Powell missed the shot. Rebound Lumberjacks.
Fierce competition end to end here.
And a two-point game that feels like it's coming down to the final minutes.
SFA is better in close games. Stanford, they lose a ton of close games.
Yeah, that's been
wild
the theme.
shot, a rare wild shot there.
But saved in bounds to Bostic, who was rejected by Eustace. So the Lumberjacks do keep the possession. We're talking about Taylor Smith all night, a powerful player around the rim.
Take a listen. You could hear the explosion of the rim. The laws of physics, which were developed right here at Stanford.
Well, maybe not the laws of physics, but
Polished.
polished. That's a good way to put it. The linear accelerator, just a couple miles from where we sit.
My favorite place. I love the speed game. Turn it up. Give me the low, the flesh-eating low end. Beautiful play. Josh Eustace play of the night down there. When Stanford has had something work effectively, like Andy Brown's flash, this play right here, the exquisite execution, they never come back to it. Very puzzling.
Or they would like to get Eustace going. He has been a big part of this team. He does have 7 points now with that basket. He still just has the one rebound. Now they've credited him with a second rebound, but it's been an overall quiet game for him. Kid from Montana, and he misses the free throw.
But when you're playing in this type of game, you can't get sucked in to what they're doing. Great leaders, great players, they define the terms of the conflict. Make them play your game. And that battle for supremacy as to which style, which culture is going to survive.
It's kind of a wild shot by Heyman. Now Stanford gets a chance to get out of the open court.
Heyman, the only left-hander on this Lumberjack team. Beautiful defense.
Stripped away, stolen by Hal Bateman. Tried to get it to Smith down low. Taylor Smith is working hard. He ran the floor very quickly, but that's a sloppy pass on a turnover. And we've been talking about him all game long. Danny Casper, the coach of SFA, has a star. The 6'6".
Ashley is a, I thought it was like my iPad there. Ashley, who's a senior here at Stanford. There she is. She's great friends with Dwight Powell. But she is a gymnast here, and she's competing at the Pac-12 Conference Championship for the final time this Saturday on the uneven bars, the vault, the beam, and the floor exercises, where she is a two-time defending conference championship winner. So congratulations, Ashley. Go for it all.
Part of that Stanford athletic program you were talking about. She is a great athlete on campus. And, of course, her dad, I'm sitting here next to a Hall of Famer, Bill Walner. Joe Morgan is one of the all-time greats.
Unbelievable. I grew up watching Joe Morgan, the Big Red Machine. I also got to see Chiney here tonight, the great women's basketball player. They're seeded #1. They've got to win 6 games to win the title. She told me they got a great chance. They're ready to go. They've got no excuses.
Stanford women, one of the best teams in the country. There's a foul on Harris. And there's Janae Ogwumike and some of her teammates catching some basketball. Pac-12 Player of the Year. She's one of the greats.
The school spirit. There's 3 schools in NCAA basketball that have over 100 NCAA titles. UCLA at the top. Stanford and USC are close behind. Everybody else in the whole country and the whole world is so far behind that they don't even matter. The Pac-12, the world's greatest conference.
Track and field, tennis, swimming.
Swimming, golf. The number of Hall of Fame athletes. The number of Hall of Fame cities here. Beautiful execution. That is perfect basketball. Curl one guy through, suck the defense, fill a guy right back in. Danny Casper basketball.
Now, they've been good, the Lumberjacks, on those inbound plays. They've gotten a couple baskets off those in this game. 2-point game. Harris maybe got away himself with a push, and Smith, they're going to call a goaltending. He went way up high to block that shot.
That's a good block.
That's
a good block.
You were talking about the inbound execution for the Lumberjacks.
Little pump fake on the curl. That guy's a little bit open. Everybody else, the double stream there. They're realizing that we're in big trouble. That's a good block.
Yeah, I think you're right.
For once.
He got that still on the way up. Now, you've been right at least 2 or 3 times tonight.
This lifetime.
Out of bounds. It'll stay with SFA, the 5 seed against the 4 seed from the Power Conference. It's not a big crowd, but they're spirited here tonight. Bostic gets his own miss and tried to thread the needle to Smith that goes out of bounds.
Tough pass because of the long arms of Stanford. On that, pass it up to the high post and let somebody else make that easier, shorter post entry pass to Paul Bunyan out there. Taylor Smith all the way out here from Nacogdoches to cut down the trees. You been to Nacogdoches?
I have never been there.
I have not either.
In the piney woods of East Texas. I've been in the neighborhood, just never stopped in town.
When the wind blows through the piney woods. But one of the great things about this Southland Conference is the tradition and is the history. Louisiana Monroe, Lamar, but Monroe, Louisiana, where Bill Russell was born.
Well, Nacogdoches is not far from Shreveport, Louisiana. You're right.
Where Robert Parrish was born,
yeah.
Terry Bradshaw was born. Carl Malone lives there today.
So you got a lot of history.
Well, it's beautiful there. The Piney Woods. SFA, the #1 forestry school. Beautiful blocks. Speaking of Bill Russell, Robert Parrish, Carl Malone.
Block the shot and keep the ball. Here's Powell. Layup good. And Bill Russell would do that. Block it at one end, run the floor, get the basket at the other end.
Have you seen the recent YouTube clip that they just discovered? It's unbelievable. He blocks the ball, grabs it, dribbles it into the court, and jumps over somebody and lays it in. Ask yourself, who in today's game as a center would be able to do that?
I don't believe there's anybody quite like that. Nostich off the bench, grabbed a rebound. So Stanford's got the 6-point lead here and trying to add to it. Powell starting to play with some urgency here. In traffic, draws a foul.
SFA is starting to make some defensive mistakes. You can't let Powell drive right. The beautiful quick release there, but Powell just too long. And finally, a block that they keep in play. Just wait. He's so gifted, so long, so talented. Then he runs the floor and just glides right by everything, soaring like the eagle here. Or maybe the owl in the night air in Palo Alto through the raindrops.
I was trying to think of a Canadian reference. Powell now misses the first of 2. Ordinarily a very good free throw shooter.
Born in Ontario.
Yep.
Off Neil Young's new release, Psychedelic Pill, of which I urge a daily consumption of the music.
Maybe born under the harvest moon.
May the 4 winds blow you safely home.
One more for Dwight Powell. He just announced he's coming back for his senior year. There's a lot of talk that he could be a first-round draft pick in the NBA, but he wants his degree. You'd say both guys have walked like a giant tonight.
I have been hugely impressed and been made very proud of the game of basketball by what SFA has done here tonight.
And Stanford's made some nice adjustments in this game. They were early on looking like they were in for a real tough one.
And I want Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless to give Danny Casper some love tomorrow. Because this guy deserves it, what he's been able to build down there in this little tiny town of less than 30,000 people. 5-second violation. Yeah. No, bleeding.
Yeah. 7-point lead for Stanford. SFA with the ball. There's a whistle and a foul. They're going to call Andy Brown playing defense on the inbound.
The ball's not even inbound, so free throws?
Well, no bonus yet. One more before 17 fouls.
But if you foul a guy while the ball's out of bounds.
There's a much-needed basket for the Lumberjacks. And Bostic, he's had a lot of big shots. 15 points for him. Stanford ball, leading by 5. It's Harris who came in for Lemons. A lob play. Powell. What a finish by Dwight Powell.
Absolutely spectacular. The crowd erupts, surging as one toward the court here. But that's why you can't give up guard penetration. Everybody else has to rotate. Nice job defensively, Andy Brown.
Brown contested that shot, but Bateman hit it anyway. Well, the Lumberjacks are not going away.
They play with tremendous pride and poise and toughness. They are not afraid to mix it up physically. But when you give up guard penetration, you're going to hear the emphatic throwdown. Oh my gosh. On that ball fake by Gabriel Harris, the defender just jumped in the air. Keep your arms at the same level as the ball is, and then you won't be posterized.
Highlight play for Dwight Powell. Aaron Bright. Dangerous pass, and Powell prevented the turnover. He just came in and grabbed the ball. And Powell fouled from behind by Thomas Walkup. Dwight Powell, he's playing well here in the second half.
Most improved player. I got Hotel California. Thank you, Don Henley. Thank you, Glenn, Joe, Timothy. Incredible contribution here.
The long road for Don Henley.
Started in Nacogdoches. Then he went to North Texas State after that.
Powell had it stripped away. Well, the Lumberjacks are not going away here tonight. Hanging tough with the Cardinal. Shooting numbers pretty even in this one.
But at this point, the Sierra Club has to be breathing a little easier. Worried about the trees just being cut down here in California.
So far, they're standing tall.
So far. The Stanford post players have used their elbows and shoulders beautifully to establish that post position.
I think Stanford would like to see Josh Eustace play a little closer to the basket at times. He loves those jump shots.
Oh.
They'll call a foul. Bateman hits the deck.
So close. The beautiful back cut here along that baseline. And then with the defense just coming in, those layups, the margin for error for SFA is so tiny.
And not a lot of contact on that play.
Well, we're at the free throw line here. Some love for the Southland Conference. I mean, schools like Northwestern State, Lamar, where Billy Tubbs cut his teeth, Oral Roberts, and they rescued Paul Pierce that day back in Boston, Sam Houston State, McNeese State that gave us Joe Dumars, and then Central Arkansas, Scottie Pippen. Who's coaching at Central Arkansas right now? Corliss Williamson, Final Four MVP back in '94 in Charlotte. What a great conference. And this team, SFA, number one in that conference because of one Danny Casper.
But their rivals, Northwestern State, and that is a big rivalry in that league. 2-point win in the conference championship game that knocked SFA out of the NCAA tournament. Sent them here to Palo Alto, where they're facing Aaron Bright and the Cardinal.
But what Stanford is doing, they're taking Taylor Smith away from the basket because he has to play with Powell, and Powell playing so well to knock down that jumper. And then little Aaron Bright just able to find the rhythm and pace and beat. And here he comes again.
Yeah, and Andy Brown, Bright didn't know the defender was coming from behind. He had it stolen away.
That's his teammates' fault.
Yeah.
They've got to yell. Let the words be yours. I'm done with mine.
Heyman, the lefty, against the shot blocker, but he got his own miss and stuck it in.
Persistence, determination. It's easy when you're hot, but now you're up against it. Only down by 3.
Every time Stanford looks like maybe they're going to pull away, SFA hanging around.
Beautiful back cut.
Harris got free.
Josh Eustace, play of the night for Stanford offensively. Doing what you're supposed to and hit the guy as he's getting open. Don't wait till he's already open. By then, the defense is recovering. And that's what Bardo was so good at.
There's a roller, and that one goes down for Hal Bateman.
Brando, Bardo, one of those guys.
Yeah, well, maybe Marlon Brando was good at it too. I don't really know that much about his basketball game.
Well, Marlon Brando, Pocahontas, and me, Neil Young.
Powell, and as Bill was talking about bringing Smith on the perimeter, Bright got an opening. Powell missed the follow, got his own miss, still no good. Rebound Lumberjacks.
Got an injury on the court here. This guy's number 5 out here is really hurt.
Yeah, Bostic, his right shoulder, right arm.
He can't even move. There's something wrong, seriously, there.
Yeah. I think Danny Casper wanted
to drive on a bus 2.5 hours to Houston and get on the big plane to go somewhere. 2.5 hour bus ride, 4-hour plane from Houston to here, and then get here in rush hour traffic. Oh my gosh.
And that counts as an easy trip for them. That was smooth sailing.
Nice double team, Aaron Bright.
And Randall comes away with the ball. On the break, avoided the steal, missed the shot though.
Great play, Gabriel Harris.
Yeah, he's made some big plays for Stanford. Draws a foul.
Well, he's stepped up here where Jason Randall, where's he been tonight? Jason Randall's a darn good basketball player.
Yeah, very talented kid who's had an off year, Jason Randall. But and that is Randall, sophomore, was so good as a freshman. And part of what Stanford needs to do this offseason, Bill, is figure out how to get Jason Randall back on track. He is too good to struggle the way he did for much of this year. And that is a very talented kid. Meanwhile, Harris, who's from Alabama, he and Stanford a few minutes away from playing Alabama in the second round of this NIT.
The life and the light comes from the top. And that's what the Cardinal need. Beautiful crossover.
Yeah, Bateman missed the shot, and Powell off the tip ball out of bounds off of SFA. Well, I talked to Johnny Dawkins for a long time today, and he emphasized it. It's on him to get Jason Randall back to that level. He's going to work with him this offseason, not just physically, but building up his confidence. He thought Jason just took too much on himself this year, was too hard on himself. Johnny made a point of saying he's going to work as hard as he can this offseason to try to help him get back to that level. Harris switched to the left hand, drew the foul.
Gabriel Harris, superb in all aspects. It was his ball fake that got into the lane to set up the throwdown with only 4 losses. There's only 2 teams that had 4 or less losses. Memphis had 4 losses. Gonzaga's got 2 losses. And then there's SFA, the Lumberjacks, Danny Casper. Oh, my gosh.
And wins against, we mentioned it, Long Beach State. Win at Oklahoma, a tournament team. This free throw there at 1 of 2 for Harris. 6-point lead for Stanford. Their biggest lead, 7. Lumberjacks hanging around.
Good defense that time, chasing Randall. Cardinal finally realizing you don't have to go for these pump fakes. Tough shot, Aaron Bright everywhere.
Here comes Bright, the junior.
I love watching Aaron Bright because the ball is an extension of his mind. He's just running up the court like some of the great ones ever. Steve Nash, Santa Clara, John Stockton, Gonzaga. And they're just looking for that one little opening. Whoa.
Wow, way too strong. I think Aaron Bright has learned a little bit of that Steve Nash where, hey, if you're in the lane and there are big guys around you, just dribble on through.
Just keep going and take it with you.
Yeah.
The grand circle route.
Yeah, I think he's learned some of that.
I think of the explorers, Captain Cook, Magellan, Sir Francis Drake, Steve Nash.
LaSalle, the Explorers. They're playing tomorrow.
Oh, really?
They are. They've got Boise State, a Western team, in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
I missed that one. Sorry. I'm a Pac-12 guy. Yeah, I'm an NIT guy.
Here we are tonight, both of us.
Look at the Pac-12 schools. They got their work cut out for them. Washington already went down.
How about the NCAA tournament, Bill? You watched the Pac-12 all season long. You got 5 teams in the tournament. Any thoughts on those?
Cal's going to have their hands full, but Cal's not playing well. And the UNLV, they got a stud in Anthony Bennett. Colorado, Illinois, that's a tough one. Illinois, that's a fine team there. Pac-12 got to rise to the occasion. Arizona, Belmont's a good team, good program there. Arizona, not an offensive force at all. UCLA whining and complaining about having to go to Austin, Texas. Austin's nice. Come on, you got a chance here. And then Oregon and OK State. That'll be a game in San Jose.
Right.
1:30 Thursday. Be there.
Wright just stole it away and missed the layup. Powell missed the tip dunk. 3-point blank looks for Stanford, and none of them went down.
Lumberjacks have to capitalize. If they don't capitalize on that, they're not going to win. Get the ball in there to Taylor Smith. Feed that post.
He has not had many touches. Timeout, and now
another injury.
Hal Bate bench for SFA.
Pinckney comes in, the little guy.
Who's not a bad player, but not the same performer that Bateman is. Quick release for Heyman, hits a three.
I love that footwork. That is absolutely perfect. You couldn't draw it up any better.
Just as we
thought.
The Cardinals forced to take it.
UConn, Notre Dame, Stanford, Cal, just absolutely fantastic. And the style of play, so entertaining.
Dwight Powell against Smith. Tough contested shot, and
Great
Smith
rebound.
forced the miss.
Parker. Solid game for so many of these guys. They got a chance to take the lead here.
Under 2 minutes to go, and SFA can go ahead with a basket.
The Sierra Club is rallying on University Avenue, heading up to the campus.
Trying to save the trees. Dwight Powell with the rebound.
Missed layups. How do you expect to win if you can't make a layup?
Stanford's missed plenty themselves.
They missed 3-on-1 possession a moment ago.
That should not happen.
Great defense. Walk up.
And obviously a big 10 seconds here. Shot clock winding down. Bright three. No good. Eustace tried to save the ball, and he couldn't quite do it. It's out of bounds. The Lumberjacks will get it back. 1:06 to go. Stanford clinging to the 1-point lead.
History in the making.
Well, for the little school in Nacogdoches, this would be an historic win.
These two teams have never played before.
And we've seen a good more about him.
He was a classic player. He was beautiful. He was electrifying, dynamic, explosive, smooth as can be. A little short guy, but could score from anywhere on the court.
Great opportunity for the Lumberjacks here. Down one with the ball. Heyman against Harris, went right down the lane. Powell knocked it away.
Gabriel Harris, the player of the game for Stanford. Without him, they would have no chance tonight. And if they win tonight, they're going back to his hometown in Alabama for their next game.
An interesting decision here for SFA. They're not fouling, even though there's only about a 5.5-second difference. Game clock, shot clock. They're playing straight up defense. Now a timeout for Stanford with 13 to shoot.
Unbelievable program.
Defending champions, all-time most wins in hoops history. Here we go. 13 to shoot for Stanford out of this timeout, leading by 1. And the tough defense of SFA. Jason Randall. Almost.
How's that not an offensive foul?
Almost got whistled for it. Shot clock down to 4. Randall slipped and fell, and the Lumberjacks have the ball. 6 seconds.
For the win.
Clock winding down. Heyman's got to get a shot off. He does. Short, and the horn goes off. Stanford, by the slimmest of margins, has survived and won against a very game SFA team.
One more pass to